How you doing there, Tony? Hi, Brian. Oh, good. It's a nice overcast day this morning, so my lighting system is is working well, and I'm not going blind. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Dominic. Ah, Tony. I hope you can join us in that. Hi, 9/11. Cinda Mills. Man, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I probably did. Hang on a second. Let me try this. There. Oh, Clyde. That's Clyde Mills. Hi, Clyde. Hi, the HP 7 Up and Keenon watches. Michael, good to see you. Peter, how are you? From Derbyshire. How are things in Derbyshire? You know, the thing, it still amazes me that all of us can talk to each other of any place in the world. I started back in 2000 when I was working with, I think it may have been Macro something, or it was or Adobe. Anyway, that was when they were developing these internet videos, and we had to write all of our code. And there was a guy in London, and he and I became friends later on. But it was the first time that we were able to make a connection. But man, I tell you, the bandwidth then and the bandwidth now are very different. Rainy, huh? Oh, that's okay. Maylob, how are you? Ali, good morning. Yeah, we're finally getting some relief from the cold. It's by the way, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all remembered and you got some what I call get out of jail free cards. I hope so. I I had I came home with 2 dozen roses last week. I figure not last week, but a few days ago. um, going out to lunch together. I guess it's not as romantic as going out to dinner, but I couldn't get reservations. So anyway, okay, Doc. What I'd like to talk about today with you guys, more you than me. Um, Brian, Brian, be careful. You'll get us all in trouble. I, I don't get it. I never get my turn when I'm talking. Like I listen for instructions and what I've done wrong. You're right though. Okay, guys. Um, let's what's the first thing that there's something that's called sine qua non, and sine qua non basically means the thing that you without this, forget about it. And so why don't we start with the one absolute thing? I mean, yeah, it's got to tell time and a few things like that. So what do you go for first? Hi, Zero. Oh, Brazil. One of the last books that I published, it was immediately translated into Portuguese because there were a lot of guys that were into the kind of programming that I was writing about, and so it was one of my favorite books too. So I'm really glad to see that. I'm very happy to see more guys from South America. Woohoo! We got anyhow. There you go, Ali. That's very true. Forget about it. Where are you from? Jersey? Oh, bud. Movement. Okay, yeah. Uh, Brian, same here. The first thing that I'm concerned about and want to have is a good movement and hand wound. I happen to have on a hand wound on today. This is my Urban Jurgensen. Um, and one of the reasons I wore it is that I have very few watches with a calendar. I just don't like messing with a calendar, but I thought, well, this one is showing 14, so it's a reminder that it's Valentine's Day. Yeah, Peter, that's exactly that's I'm the same way. Oh, I don't know, man. There's yeah. Uh, Dial must attract me in elegance and layout. You know, 9/11, that's important to me too. I unfortunately, one of my favorite watches is my, Moritz Grossmann, where they put all of those hands as a background for it. That's sort of crazy, but the movement on that is so good that I forgive it for everything else. But you're right, the looks. Yeah, I think there's sort of a looks thing that's like a holistic thing. It's not just I happen to like observatory hands. It's one of my watches with it. Both of my Lariques have it. The ones I have so far. Um, but they have to go with the rest of the dial. I mean, if you have hands that aren't sort of part of the way that the whole dial looks, uh, it doesn't look right. One other thing with Larique, we have a very, very good designer in Mathieu Allegre, and he keeps us from making homers, which is like we all want something different, and we end up with a homer. Uh, yeah, it's a very tricky thing, and man, I'll tell you, that's important. I was sort of snorting around the other day about people who seem to put way too much emphasis on the waterproofness, and for some you're not going to take a good watch and dive into the deep end of the swimming pool, let alone going taking it way under, and so that was what I was thinking about. But I got an email from somebody the other day. He said, I think it was from Thailand, and he said, here it's so we have such high humidity that the we have to have a certain level of water, not waterproofness, but water resistance, I guess. And I never thought of that, but that's something that I think the problem with, to me anyway, with too much um, water resistance when you live in the desert or something, is that you end up with these big thick gaskets and stuff to seal it up and other kinds of issues like that. But I had never thought about high humidity since it was uh, we have some humidity in the summer here up in New England. When I lived in Florida, it was humid all the time. So, and I know that some people I know from Florida have told me is that on the straps, they'll get eaten up pretty quickly down there. So my suggestion is just move. That's all you have to do. Okie doke. Hey Lee, how's it going? Oh, bud. On the island of Jersey. Oh, man. Yeah, clean one. I like a clean dial too. You know, there's I like a little guilloche, especially in the sort of inside the hour chapter ring, some in there, see if I got it now. This one is, like, super clean. It has this special, dial material called Grenache, I think, and so it doesn't everything doesn't look all, reflecting off of everything, and so you look at your watch, and every time, it's just the time is clear as a bell. So that's another thing. You like yellow dials, okay. Another one close to that, oh, bud, is the, salmon dials. Those are very popular too. I like the looks of those also. Peter, I'm not big on complications these days. Simple suits, my mental capacity. I'm the same way. I like a nice clean one. I'm trying to think, the one that, Larica's making, Air Zulu, is about as, um, complicated as I wanna have, and that's the complication is because we have, what's called a Zulu hour in the middle, that's on a retrograde, and so, that's not a lot. You can glance at it and see the time with its 2 Asagi hands. I can hardly wait to see that. 3 Asagi hands. Yeah, yeah. You buy it. Oh, guys in Florida and Louisiana, uh, yeah, you get some real I was at a conference in, New Orleans, and, boy, I'll tell you, the hotel I stayed in was it was a really nice hotel, but there was some kind of I don't know, some that had gotten wet, and so there was sort of a mold up on one of the corners that, like, it gave me the creeps. That's one thing that would I don't like that. So, here's a tip, if your watch gets mold, you probably ought to take care of it. Michael, Bernard Letter didn't wear his watch in Naples since he didn't want to wear his leather strap sweating too much. Well, that makes sense. Um, that's funny. When I was in Naples, God, a while back, not too long ago, but, when I was there, I don't remember the humidity. Um, maybe it was in the spring. That could have been, why it wasn't quite as humid, but, it was sort of one of those things that, hopped on a bus that went down to, the volcano place. It was interesting. Keen on watches. That's a good point. Bad branding. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, I do know what you mean. "Hey, Caesar, how you doing? Good to see you." Texture, yeah, it was nice. Moon phases are always nice. Some of the prettiest watches I was looking at some Breguet watches, I was looking at some Breguet watches that were made by Daniel Roth, as sort of back when Breguet, he was hired to bring Breguet back. At the time, Breguet was I think they had a couple contracts with the Army and Navy making these military style watches, but that was it. And so when the Chomet brothers bought Breguet, they hired him, and so one of his early watches, and one I might be able to get eventually, it has this little moon phase up around 1 o'clock with a it's not a power reserve indicator, it's like a little moon thing that goes on in the stars. It's really very pretty. So those are there's some really cool things. I had a Christian Vanderclaw, moon phase one, and they had a beautiful moon phase on that one. So a moon phase can really be nice. The thing that's nice about it, it doesn't, sort of mess things up. I think the point that, is it Tony, I guess, that made about I don't like too many complications. I don't either because I never use them. The probably one of the reasons I'm not crazy about chronographs is that they have all of these, especially the ones with 3 subdials on it, but that's, other guys love them. So, that's th those things I think are important. Did you do a ghost tour? No, I didn't do a ghost tour. I'm afraid of those. No, I was there for a book, convention. That was back when I was in publishing, and we'd go to a went there for books. Smaller numbers are not at all, better than large. Oh, Michael, that's sort of a hard one for me because sometimes it depends on the design. I've seen watches with big numbers that are perfectly fine. Uh, again, it depends how they're designed. Uh, this this has all numbers, and I don't know. There are big numbers. They look fine. They're not big. They're not small. They're sort of, as I say, as Goldilocks. They're just right. Wrist cheese, huh? The buildup on straps, Jesus. Hi, Benjamin. I like retrograde functions and prefer a pointer. I like retrogrades too. You can have a retrograde that, sort of stays out of the way. It does its job. I've got a bi-retrograde by, Harry Winston, and it's got these little retrogrades on each side of it, one for the day of the week and one for the, seconds, and it's really funny because on the days of the week, it looks static, whereas the one on it's got like a 30-second one going back and forth. That's what the new Larique, Air Zulu is gonna have, and I think they're putting it on the, jump hour too on Air Soutant. Yeah, good design is, you know, I there was a watch I wish I had bought now. But the design was so ugly. There was this German watch company in, Munich, and those guys had Langenheim had a movement that they're now using in their Hercules watch or Hector watches, called what is it? MD something or other, 33.1. Great movement, but they had this ugly, really ugly, ugly dials, and I think that they had, somebody's cousin or our nephew was, "Oh, hey, let Louis do it. He knows about graphic design," and it's just terrible. And the reason I wish I'd bought one is that now they're almost impossible to get because I could have taken the movement out of the watch, throw maybe keep the case and just take the dial and dump it, but yeah, it is so important. I agree with, design. My Vacheron, Constantin Petroboy Middle East edition in platinum with salmon dial is my favorite. You know, um, I think Vacheron Constantin I have both my, Mercator and, what's it called? The, 1921. They have awfully nice dials. They've done really good jobs on those. Hey, Washington, how you doing? I like hand dates also. I like them for lots of reasons. One of the reasons, Washington, that I like hand dates is they're easier. I mean, like this one has got a little bitty window, you know? Yeah. On a hand date, on the other hand, you can look at those simply by where it is relative to the 360 degrees. So, if it's over by 9 o'clock, it's later in the month. And if it's over by 3 o'clock, it's earlier in the month. I agree. I really like hand dates. Yeah, it's um as far as the statements are concerned, it's I'm the only one that's got to approve of it, but I understand what you mean. Hey, Keen, best dial designs are simple. Everything that is best is simple. Simplicity, I think, is key to everything, and usually true simplicity is the hardest thing to get to because you've got to go through everything to find how just the essence of it. It's going back to the sine qua non. Yeah, Ali. I yeah. Yeah, that's true, though. You gotta have a good price on it. Oh, wow, display back, but with price of gold, you're like, "Huh, that's sort of an interesting view." Um, I have a white gold back, and it's a solid one on my Fabergé, Alexi, and, I just don't look at it. I mean, it's nice, but the thing that's so weird about it, when I took the back off, they had, um put put the rotor is in the design of the Imperial Eagle, and here they go through they could have put, just anything, there, but they have this elaborate design, but they don't have an observatory back or a see-through back. Go figure. Yeah, 9/11 Euro. That's another thing. That's a very important how you need to have everything that goes together. That that can be very difficult. I'm looking at all of my watches that are partially finished that I keep working on. Um, but I just got sort of whatever off the shelf movement they have. One of the things, though, I think is important is for the movement to match the case or very close to it because I'm still mad at a watch I had years ago that had it was a 40 millimeter watch with a ETA 7001, which is a little bitty movement inside of it. They could have played golf around the thing. There was so much room around that little movement. Actually, the movement wasn't that bad at all. It kept good time, but it was sort of the principle that I was just curious about. One of the best fits I have is my Beauvais 1930. When they made Beauvais, had they made them together, and so that it fit perfectly. So, yeah, that's important. Yeah, Benjamin, I'm there's a it 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 depends, trendy, not into too much at all. Um, I also tend toward more formal than sporty, but I have to admit there's some sport watches, designs that I like. Doxa, a big orange Doxa. I don't know why I like that watch, but I do. I think the things you guys are coming up with are really pretty good. In this sense is that the nobody has said, well, I want to impress other people or what other, I could care less. I got it. I think someone says, well, that's not brand X or something that's popular. Like, well, why would that matter? I think most of the watches that a lot of us get, or at least sort of a certain portion of the Watch Collectors Foundation are the quality is high, but the popularity, even the ignorance of it, is that people miss out on so many great watches because of that. That oh, it doesn't, this or that. There was a guy who put up a thing this morning in High Horology Lounge, or was it yesterday? And it's this incredible looking regulator by, of all places, Chaumet Dandy. And I saw the watch and I talked about it because it was just, I mean, it's like rare. They didn't make many of them. And so the guy went and got it and he loves it. So, there's certain things, but one of the reasons is that I understand that some of the best, far better than, some guy sitting at a bench at Rolex, somebody sitting at a bench at Chaumet or Boucheron or one of the top jewelry makers, those things are going to look pretty good. And so but on the other hand, most people don't even pay most, guy watch collectors don't pay much attention to those. And for me, it's been very good because that means the prices aren't very high. Ooh, Malab. Part of it is, that is, in a way, that's one of the coldest statements that I happen to like. If you know, you know. Uh, what early on when I first started collecting, I was really into Vacheron Content 10s, and I joined a group called the Hour Lounge. That was what it was, and the guy who was running it was somebody from Vacheron Content 10, and he used to have all of this great stuff for it. Uh, he left, and he's been for the last, I don't know how many years is that Phillips, but man, I'll tell you, he was talking about having a certain watch, and somebody said, "Oh, nobody knows what it is," and he said, "Well, if they know, they know," and that is like, I don't know, it's almost an elitist statement, but I somehow like it. Is that somebody who thinks the only kind of watch is one of the popular watches. I've got nothing against Rolex and Omega, but I also, some of these other popular ones. But, if that's all you know, that's all you know. But you don't know. Yeah, this is the thing about sort of what Malab said about the if you know, you know, that it's not a show-off watch. Usually, only those who know what it is. For example, you take what's his name? The guy that owns Facebook, Zuckerberg, has a uh, Girard Force watch. Things are over 100,000 bucks, probably over 200,000. Most people would know that from Adams, and so but the people who know that a Girard Force or FP Journe or a Larique or a uh, Montrez Fou des Sombres Sablé, they know. Yeah, it's impressible to the knowledgeable observer, right? Yeah, Peter, one of my favorite watches, this is sort of a funny thing, is the, True Second by, oh, who is that? Jaeger-LeCoultre. They have this incredible movement, and the way that they deal, the mechanism that deals with, it's almost like a remontoire, the way the mechanism they have that deals with, true seconds. But the dial on that looks like they went into a 5th grade schoolroom and looked at the clock on the wall and put the most boring dial on it they could imagine. And, so, I mean, like, it's certainly, I mean, you talk about something that you look at that and it looks like, so, yeah. Yeah, and that's a deadbeat second, but if you know, if you're like us and you like deadbeat seconds, um, yeah, Heartbreak, the what is it? Irwins have those. That's another watch too. The thing that's so great about Harboring too, that's another one, if you know, you know, they don't cost an arm and a leg. They're not made out of, gold. They're just good watches by a really seriously good watchmaker, in Richard Habring. I guess Emery too. Um, so yeah, so you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a knockout watch. So anyway, well, listen, more than most days, I've got to. My time is up. It's rolling pin time, but I get paroled at 4 o'clock, so we'll see you guys at 4. We'll continue. We'll come up with a fun discussion then. In the meantime, have a very good Valentine's Day, and for whatever you do, um, you know, stay out of trouble. Take care. Hey, Dominic.